Real output stayed the same because none of the real factors were affected. Only the nominal variable was affected. So, if I look at aggregate demand, how much stuff do we demand? The lower the price, the more stuff we demand. So here, we demand this much stuff. Now, if the money supply increases, we all have more money. So we try to buy more stuff. But is there more stuff? There isn't any more stuff. So all we can do, aggregate demand shifted out. There's twice as much money. We're purchasing twice as much stuff, except there isn't twice as much stuff. The amount of stuff is still fixed. So prices go up. Now, as I showed here, who is getting the items? That can change. If the government took all this money and they spent it, now they're getting half the items. But the number of items that's being created depends on the number of real factors, the number of factories and stuff like that. And if any of these factories, for whatever reason, stops producing a good, because, well, the price is, the prices of this good is wrong, well, prices will adjust within the economy to bring it back into equilibrium, where there is no shortage and there is no surplus, and the factory's operating again. And that's the key thing. All these prices have to be able to adjust. This is why, as an economist, I think prices are so important in an economy. Because these prices are essentially transmitting all the information that the economy needs to adjust its production. And it's doing so without any central person understanding it or knowing what they're doing. Because each of these reacts to all the other markets that it needs to react to. And the only thing it needs to do that is changes in the prices for those markets. Did that help? Yes? We're doing okay? You don't have to have this perfectly yet. You're going to get it again. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next step. And I'm going to erase all this. I'll leave that up, but I'm going to erase this. And I now want to talk about a specific market. A different specific market. A market I told you to learn very well. And that is the market for labor. Remember supply and demand for labor.
โอ้โหเฮียที่มึงติวให้นี่กูลืม
Supply, and just to be clear, these are the workers. And demand, who are the firms. And what is this?
อะไร
These are wages. And I'm drawing my wages over here. Do so as well. Leave yourself some space. What wages are we interested in? Why do we like wages? Because they give us money. And what does the money get us? It gets us stuff. And how much stuff can we get for our money? It depends on how valuable our money is, right?
เดี๋ยว
And how valuable is our money? How do we determine that?
ฐาน
Wages real are equal to You don't need to erase this, but I'm erasing this. I'm drawing it bigger. Big is good.
ทำอะไรทำ
I have
เหี้ย
people
อะไร
in the back row, so.
ทำเพื่อ
Oh, stupid pens. Start betraying me now. Wages real are equal to wages nominal over the price level. Remember, we did that a little earlier. Real wages, nominal wages over the price level. And then I gave you 100 baht an hour over 30,000 baht. Or, remember that? So, I'm just substituting that into here.
ลืม
And let me consider a specific market. Motorcycle taxis. What happens to the price of how many of you have taken motorcycle taxis before?
ซี่มอเตอร์ไซค์
Is that all?
อูเบอร์
Like you get on the back of a motorcycle taxi and they take you somewhere.
วินเนี่ย
Yeah. And do you take them often?
มอเตอร์ไซค์เอาแท็กซี่
Yes, almost every day. No. Some of us are more risk-taking than others. So, Matt and I both took motorcycle taxis for a long time. Ed used to take them. Then Ed's wife got into a bad accident, and Ed said he wouldn't take them anymore. His wife kept taking them afterwards. So, I owned a motorcycle. Then the flood destroyed it. Now my wife says I can't buy another one. And now I'm going to buy another one because she's told me too many times I can't. She said I can't. She also said I can't grow a handlebar mustache that comes down to here, like a cowboy who I was watching make chili. And I turned on YouTube and this old cowboy was making chili. He had the best mustache ever.
แอดคาราบาว
I want that mustache. I'm gonna look at Tyler's Auto and see if I can find a costume mustache to test it out. Motorcycle taxi drivers.
คาราบาวฝรั่ง
I used to take them pretty much every day because I'd take it to the bus, take the bus to the university and back until I was earning enough money that I didn't have to take the bus anymore. And eventually just started taking a taxi every day, which was the greatest thing ever. But this was during one of OPEC's periodic moments of we can get stuff done. And the price of gas went up. And what happened to the price of motorcycle taxis?
มอเตอร์ไซค์ก็
It went up. It went from 15 baht to 18 baht to 20 baht. Over the course of about 4 weeks.
ไม่ขึ้นเลย
And then the price of gas in Thailand stayed high for the next 4 or 5 months. And it was okay. I mean, here was the road. Here's my my house in the Mubon. I'd go to the end of the road, and there was the motorcycle taxi stand. And prices were pretty much fixed. So I didn't have to worry about them trying to rip me off after the first 2 or 3 times. I'd take them and come back. But eventually, well, let's model this. No, I'm not going to model it. I'm going to explain it. I'll model it using a different example. I want to explain this first example first. Eventually, the price of gas started to go down. And then what happened to the cost of a motorcycle taxi ride? Did it go down? No? Why not? Because they just kept collecting the same amount of money? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I would walk to the end, the price of gas had gone down, and they're still charging 20 baht. And eventually I would go to the end and then I would walk like this. and I'd wait for another motorcycle taxi, not one from this stand, but just someone passing by to stop. And I would offer them 15 baht, and they would take me, because that was a fair price. And other people started doing it. And then eventually these people did lower their price.
โอ้โห
They did eventually lower their price. But it didn't happen as fast as they raised it.
ไว้เท่า10 โล
Let's model this. And I'm going to use the example of BAS. Everyone in BAS, not everyone, but most of your professors are foreign professors. And we're always thinking of things in terms of kind of exchange rates. I.e., how much is this in terms of our home money? Because, you know, if we're going to retire at home, what that is, that kind of determines how well we can live when we get home with the money that we've saved here. So what's going to happen to our real wages if prices go up? If prices go up, what happens to our real wages?
ตัวดาวทำไมครับ
Wages real are equal to wages nominal over the price level. If the price level goes up, then the money we were getting can't purchase as many goods. So real wages have gone down. Now what happens to the equilibrium quantity supplied and quantity demanded?
ลดลงไง
This is demand by firms. This is supply by workers. This is the quantity being demanded, but this is the quantity being supplied. We don't want to work as much. We don't want to work because we're not getting paid a lot anymore. Now, what will BAS have to do to keep us here? They'll have to pay us more money. They'll have to raise nominal wages until we get back up to here, or at least reasonably close to it. Let's take a different example. Same thing, still BAS. Wages real equal to wages nominal over the price level. But this time, the price level goes down. If the price level goes down, what happens to real wages? Real wages will go up. Prices went down, so real wages went up. Now, like so. And now, we're earning a lot more. But what's happened to quantity supplied and quantity demanded? Again, this is the supply. Quantity supplied exceeds quantity demanded. Because BAS is now paying us a lot more. They're paying us a lot more than would otherwise have been the case. So they don't want us as much as we want to keep working. So what's going to happen to nominal wages to bring real wages back to where they were? Not by law, but nominal wages have to fall, right? Why are we saying by law? What am I we're saying. No, you could just lower nominal
กูไม่
wages,
ออก
right?
อ๋อแล้วเอาอะไรเตะ
Yeah. So, who said fired? Her? Someone said,
ใจร้าย
you said it. We don't need to fire anyone. We just need to lower nominal wages. So, could you do me a favor? Could you please go to Ajahn Steve and tell him you're cutting his wages? What would happen if you went to Ajahn Steve and told him you were going to cut his nominal wages? He
ฆ่าตัว
would
ตาย
He would swallow you whole and you would never be heard from again. Your ghost would be trapped inside of him for eternity. Even your ghost could not get away. Nominal wages are sticky downwards. Sticky means they don't move a lot. They tend to stick where they are. If something in the economy is sticky, it means it doesn't adjust quickly. Nominal wages are sticky downwards. Nominal wages can go up just fine. With nominal wages, it's very difficult to bring them down. When I was talking about the motorcycle taxi guys, when the price of gas went up, they started charging more. And when the price of gas went down, they kept charging more.
ทำอะไร
They couldn't do it forever, but they could do it for a while. Until market pressure finally brought the prices back down. But now looking at BAS. Can BAS cut the wages of the professors? Probably not. I'll give you, put your pencils down for just a moment. I'm going to give you this is my intuitive example. It's not exactly the point here, but I think you'll get it. I used to manage a Thai restaurant in Washington, D.C. Yes, I have done many things in my life. And one of the things I did, I'm not a particularly good manager. I'm very good at figuring things out. The moment I figure something out, I get bored. And management is all about doing the same thing every day.
อืม
Putting a system in place and then monitoring people and make sure it happens. No, I put a system in place and then, ooh, shiny. And then, so I always tried to hire sub-managers to do as much of the work for me as I could. But I discovered what I came to call Thai Hitler disease.
ไทยฮิตเลอร์ดิซี
About half the women who were waitresses at the restaurant that I promoted to be a manager turned into Hitler. That's the only way I can describe it. They were good workers. I mean, I liked them and stuff. But the moment they were a manager, they stopped working. They said, I'm a manager now. I don't have to work. Go sharpen my pencil for me. And I would explain to them, you can't do that. If you're a manager, you're in America, you will now work harder. You will be the last one to leave, but I'll pay you more money. I'm paying you to do all this, but you have to do it. And you can't abuse the staff because in the US, you have to be very nice to the Thai waitresses because there's more Thai restaurants than Thai waitresses, and every Thai waitress is a student who's more concerned with school than the extra money they're getting from a restaurant. If you annoy them, they'll quit. I really hated them, by the way. I didn't hate them, but I really found them hard to deal with. All the cooks were from Isan. They were great. I paid them less, and they were happy. And then the waitresses, they earned more, and they were always complaining. But you had to have them, because if your cooks are Thai, you have to have Thai people who can speak to them and speak to the customers. And that meant college-educated Thai people like you who are in the US being waitresses and stuff. But here's the problem I had. Every time I promoted someone from waitress and they became Thai Hitler, I couldn't leave them in that position. But I also could not demote them back to waitress. Even if they wanted me to, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because, no, you were a manager, now I'm demoting you, you have lost face, you're not earning as much money, and you hate me. And you do hate me. No matter what she says, she hates me. And I don't want that in my restaurant. I don't want waitresses who hate me saying bad things about me to everybody else. Far better to just fire them, let them get a new start, and let me and the restaurant go on and do as it will. And this always made me feel bad. Because it's like, I liked you before I promoted you. And by the way, I never figured out how to tell ahead of time if the waitress would be a good manager or a terrible manager. And there was no such thing as middle. Either they were a good manager or they were a terrible manager. But I had to fire them because you don't want to keep that poison in. And for the young lady in back who said you fire everybody, that is what I think BAS would have to do. I actually do think BAS would have to, because the professors, Ajahn Steve, Ajahn Matt, Ajahn Ed, Ajahn Peter, and I'm assuming Tobias, all of them would be furious about it. I would be upset by it, and I would actually understand what was going on. The 1 out of 10,000 people who would. And I would still be mad about it. Because I'm getting paid less. I'm losing face. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't stay here all this time. Now, where will all those professors end up working? Probably at Chula. Why? Because if there was a generalized price change like this, what happened to all the foreign professors at Chula? They're going to get fired too, for the same reasons. Now, can they come to Thammasat and work at a lower wage? They can. No, it's not that their real wages, actually have gone down from before. It's just their nominal wages have. But that's not how they see it. They interpret a cut in their nominal wages as, the man is punishing me. It's not fair. It's wrong. Goddamn Thailand. All the things that foreigners get upset about when they're getting upset in Thailand. Nominal wages can move in one direction, up. But it is very hard to move nominal wages down. Now, over time, everyone would get a new job, or possibly go home and be replaced by a new group of foreigners who haven't been in Thailand and haven't let it get to them yet. But that could take 2 or 3 years. I mean, you know, you're trying to attract a new worker from overseas. How many professors at BAS came from overseas to get a job here? I think only 2. Ajahn Matt was recruited from overseas, and I believe Tobias was as well. I believe those 2 were. But Steve was here long before he got a job at BAS. I was here before I got a job at BAS. Peter was here before he got a job at BAS. And when BAS goes to hire a professor from overseas, it takes a year to do. I mean, it really does take a long time to do. Okay.